Cold Steel Bush Ranger LITE. And the premium version of the Bush Ranger with the G10 contoured scales. And the premium blade of S35VN. I've been meaning to get this knife for a while. You know, it's always something else. It just, a lot of what people didn't like about it, I liked about it. You know, just the way I like the cold steels that have the smoother G10 texture that are contour like the Ultimate Hunter, you know, the 8010. And from the reviews that I watched, it just looked like, you know, it had a really good, people really liked the grip, you know, and the handle on it. So the standard one, you know, the main one is $127.95 Knife Center, $126 Knife Works. Amazon's $111. I think I got it for $103. It goes up and down. Obviously, Amazon's in flux all the time. $168.74. I think that's more of a map from, you know, that's like a price that you see a lot of places have it. Designed by Mike Wallace. He took I guess there used to be a fixed blade from Cold Steel that was called the Bush Ranger, and he took it and he drew inspiration to make a folding knife. You know, they wanted something that was going to be a decent, not too beefy and tanky like an SR1 or an 8010, but still give you enough strength, you know, to do whatever you wanted to, be it, I'm just reading off of this, you know, be it EDC or camping or hunting. 5.4 ounces, 4mm blade stock, 8.37 overall. The Bush Ranger LITE's $37.95 at Knife Center, Blade HQ. Amazon had it for $36. As of right now, I think I got it for $33. I think it's just, yeah, glass-filled nylon GFN. No triad. I'll talk about more of that in a little bit. It's just a lock back with like a secondary locking mechanism. 4.8 ounces. Uses 8CR 13 MOV, which I haven't had any problem with it in the past. 3.5 inch, they call it a Sheffield clip point. It says the blade stock is 3.8 millimeters, so we'll look at that. It says it's a tiny bit lighter. So when I ordered this, I wasn't really thinking, I was like, because obviously everybody knows that GSM Outdoors has bought Cold Steel. And I was really curious when I pulled this out of the box that did have the new logo. So if you didn't know, the new logo, you know, looks like that. It's got the little blade coming down through it, and it's a rounded box, a little different than, you know, the original Cold Steel, you know, from the past before the sale. So once I saw that, I was curious to see about quality control. I'm hoping that they're making these premium ones in the same factory as the older knives, and we'll get into this. I just want a little feedback from anybody else that's bought this knife or bought any of the premium Cold Steels with this new logo, because this knife's got problems, you know, right out of the box. So, and this one's just on a whole nother level of problems. You know, right off the bat, have you ever heard of Cold Steel have that much lock rock? I mean, that is a shit ton. You know, it's insane. That's like one of those old buck knives, you know, that were built in China. I just don't. I don't know what to say. I mean, is that going to hurt using it? I don't know. I mean, look at the grind on the front of the blade. I mean, I know it's $37. It's like somebody just ground that tip right off. But what's funny, and we'll get into that with the G10 version, you know, actually where they ground down on the tip of the blade compared to the, you know, you can see where it's different. This is more of a horizontal and these are vertical grinds. These are actually done well, and it doesn't cut your fingers. And even though one's deeper than the other side, they're pretty much in the same exact spot on the blade. So this one, is the whole blade's a shit show. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this. The easiest way to do it is you could see on both sides that it's centered in the G10. I mean, it's pretty much the same gap. So the knife is centered, but look at the tip. So I thought first that it was warped, that the blade was warped. And if you don't really look at it, that's what it looks like. It's like an optical illusion. I'm going to try to line it up with that line. It looks like the blade's warped towards the tip, but it's actually not. It's the grind on the one side is just so deep on the flare. So if you look at this side, I don't know if this is even going to come out in the camera. This side's pretty straight. This is still a horrendous where they've dug down and did this part, and it's actually sharp. This will actually catch, like when you're cleaning it with a rag, it'll catch and pull off material. And, you know, so I don't know if, and that's why I want somebody else to input that's bought this knife, if that's like that on theirs, because, you know, the cheapy version's nicely round down. Then when you get to this side, unfortunately, this whole grind is different. It's deeper, so if you look at this top piece, you know, it's a good half millimeter or so, a half millimeter different. And the grind goes very deep and it takes off a huge portion of the blade in the front. So I don't know if that's going to come through on the camera or not. Right there, I don't know if you could see that. But if you look at it, it looks like the blade's warped going out that way because there's a lot of material here, but very little material here on the actual blade. So another thing I've never seen with a premium cold steel, something like this, where it actually has lock rock. Now I'm not going to touch the lock bar. You know, I mean, I've opened it and closed it a bunch of times. It's functioning fine. I think I'm going to keep it. You know, it's just going to go. I bought this knife to go. I just getting ready for the camping season here in the spring, and I thought this was going to be a good knife to throw in a backpack. You know, and I'm still going to keep it, I think. But I've never seen a triad lock except for one that I've used for years. This is my garage knife, an original AUS 8 Mini Recon, and I mean, barely. I've pounded this thing. I've scraped metal with it, just a little bit, if you can hear it. This knife's been beat up, you know, and it's been used and abused. You know, right out of the box to have lock rock is kind of ridiculous. You know, everything else seems fine. The G10 looks nicely machined. Everything looks good up in here in the front. This lock bar, it's going to be tough to see that. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually waved. You know, where they ground it down, it's waved as it goes through, but I don't really care about that. The G10 backspacer is nicely done. Now this has got a lot of play in it. And I have not seen that in any of my other real cold steels. I mean, there's really nothing there. Obviously, I don't have one here. I don't even think this old, yeah, this thing is tight. This thing's been used forever, and it's tight as hell, the actual lock bar, when it's closed. This one, so if you look right here, it's been ground down on the end. You can see right here. I don't know if the light's going to catch that. So that's causing play, and then right here, there's a big chunk missing. I don't know if it's going to focus on that core. So that's where the play is coming from. You know, is that why it's causing lock rock? I don't know. I don't know the reason why. Once again, my hand's not on the lock bar, so. You know, just the blade itself was troubling to me. I've never seen that in any of the premium cold steels that I've bought, just being that far off. But I really like the knife. It's got a really good grip. You know, for my XL size hands, it's just comfortable. People have talked about how you can't do the normal where you let it ride on your finger because it's going to hit inside, even if you come up all the way. But, you know, I haven't had any issues with it. It's I've just been kind of putting my finger to the tip and letting it drop a little bit and then close it. But you definitely can't just let it slam, you know, like this and fall on the ricasso. It is a little different. But compared to this blade, I mean, this is perfection for the price you pay. Just look at the grind, and everything about this knife is perfect. So I'm a little worried. Maybe this is just a Friday or a Monday knife that it slipped through. But I'm a little worried about GSM now. I mean, what are they? Is the different factory? Is the quality going to drop? Or you know, look at the grind on this AD15. I mean, it's just perfect. Everything about the swedge, everything is just so nicely done. This is what I've come to expect, but with cold steel. So you can open this. I've never done the Emerson wave before, but you just pull it out, you know, like this, and you keep it up against the tip of your pocket. And in my cargo shorts or my jeans, it opens up fine. You know, it locks up. Somebody on a video talked about this fulcrum being a little harder, so you could see how far away the pin is from the actual depression of the back lock. This one's really close, but I haven't had any problems with it. You know, I don't see where it's really any tougher. And this thing's just a whole nother league of a problem. I don't know if you could see this here. Forgot to mention this. The whole back of this blade, if you look in the light, I don't know if it's going to catch it, is just completely tweaked. It looks like the whoever was working on it, and this may be the reason why it's got so much lock rock. It looks like a grinder or a Dremel barrel was taken to that, and it's just been ground away. It's all uneven, and it's been rounded off right there. So I'm assuming that's it right there. I'm assuming that's the problem. Maybe when they were taking the blade out of the machining or whatever, it slipped up and it hit something. But this is going back. You know, I'm just not going to have a cold steel or knife, any knife that comes out of the box like that. So believe it or not, this was sharper. This is also the first cold steel I did, and it wasn't just razor sharp. I touched it up, you know, and I stropped it, and it's okay now. But I don't know. I'd just like some feedback, what you guys think about these two. I definitely like the knife for 103 bucks or 120 bucks. It's a great piece. It's light enough to carry every day. It's got unbelievable ergonomics. I don't see any issues. People have talked about this ramp being here. You know, the hammer grip or the saber grip, whatever feels comfortable to me. It's just a nice, well-machined handle. And the knife is substantial. So the Bush Ranger G10, the new cold steel logo from GSM Outdoors. I know this is kind of a long video. And the Bush Ranger LITE 8CR13 MOV. Hope everybody's doing well. And I haven't looked in a while, but I guess I'm coming up on 650,000 views, which is pretty amazing to me that many people have watched my videos. But once again, if I'm helping the community in an ever so slight way, you know, that's what I was doing this for, and just keep some time, you know, while I'm going through medical issues. So everybody have a good one.